Welcome back to AI for the People. We're diving into a question that's got everyone talking, who should be leading America's AI future?
Yeah, it's a big one.
Big one. Get this. By 2030, the global AI market, it's predicted to hit a staggering $1.8 trillion.
Wow.
But over 60% of large companies, they haven't even figured out how to govern AI.
It's kind of like launching a rocket but without a guidance system.
That's a good way to put it, don't you think?
Yeah, it's a recipe for disaster.
Yeah.
AI's got this massive potential to change everything, but without, clear direction.
Right.
We risk heading straight for some serious problems.
Exactly. So today we're going to explore why Elon Musk might just be the person to guide us towards an AI future that's not just powerful, but also ethical and effective.
Okay.
You probably know him from Tesla and SpaceX.
Of course.
Those are amazing.
Yeah.
But today we're focusing on a different side of Musk.
Okay.
His deep concern about the risks of unchecked AI and his ideas for making sure it benefits everyone.
It's really interesting how Musk, he kind of embodies both the promise and the peril of AI. He isn't just building the future, he's actively wrestling with those ethical dilemmas that it throws at us.
Yeah, he's like living in the future and sending us postcards, warning us about the dangers along the way.
I like that, yeah.
So to understand where Musk is coming from, let's take a look at the current AI landscape.
Okay.
Things are evolving so quickly, but not always in the right direction, right? Think about those stories we've all heard about facial recognition systems misidentifying people of color.
Oh, yeah.
That's AI bias in action, and it's a huge problem.
Absolutely. These aren't just like technical glitches. They reflect these deep-seated biases that we have in our society that AI can unfortunately amplify if we're not incredibly careful.
Yeah.
And right now, the U.S. doesn't have comprehensive federal regulations for AI.
It's kind of like trying to manage air traffic with just a handheld flashlight.
That's a scary thought.
Yeah. Scary thought. The EU is already out there setting the standard with their AI Act, like rules about transparency, accountability, and even banning certain uses of AI considered too risky.
Yeah, they're way ahead of the game.
Meanwhile, America's still trying to catch up.
That raises a crucial question.
What's that?
Can the U.S. afford to be lagging behind in setting those ethical guidelines for AI?
Especially when you consider the potential for what Musk calls existential risk.
Oh, yeah.
The idea that uncontrolled AI development could pose a threat to humanity itself.
Yeah, it's a big one, right?
Existential risk. That sounds pretty intense. Could you break that down a bit more?
Sure. Think of it this way. Some experts predict that AI could actually surpass human intelligence as early as 2030.
Wow, okay.
If we don't ensure that AI is aligned with, our values and goals,
Right.
we could be facing unintended consequences that we haven't even begun to imagine.
Okay, I'm starting to see why this is such a big deal.
Yeah.
So this is where Elon Musk kind of enters the picture,
Yeah.
right? Not as the electric car guy or the space explorer, but as, the AI ethicist.
It's a side of him that often gets overshadowed by his other ventures, But back in 2015, he actually co-founded OpenAI.
Oh, right, OpenAI.
With the specific goal of making sure that AI benefits humanity.
Right.
He has since left the organization,
Yeah.
but his concerns about AI safety, they haven't gone away at all.
It seems like he's been pretty vocal about the need for kind of a pause on developing these super advanced AI systems, even calling for, global regulations to keep things in check.
Yeah, it's like he's saying, hold on, everyone, let's make sure we actually know what we're doing before we unleash this thing on the world.
Exactly.
And then there's his company, XAI,
Right.
which is, specifically focused on building AI that's not just powerful,
Okay.
but transparent, curious, and even truthful. It's like he's trying to create a new kind of AI,
Yeah.
one that's more like a helpful partner
Right.
than a potential threat.
So it's not just about avoiding the robot apocalypse.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. But about shaping AI in a way that actually helps humanity flourish.
Absolutely. And that's where, Musk's unique combination of technical expertise and ethical awareness, that's where it comes in. He really gets the power of AI.
Right.
But he also understands the potential for things to go seriously wrong if we're not careful.
Yeah.
That dual perspective, I think, is exactly what we need in a leader for this field.
Okay, yeah, I'm starting to see why people are looking to him to take the lead.
Yeah.
He's got the vision, the technical know-how, and let's be honest, he's not afraid to shake things up.
He's a disruptor, that's for sure.
That's a good way to put it.
And that's exactly what we might need here. We're not just talking about tweaking algorithms.
Right.
We're talking about driving these huge cultural and regulatory changes to ensure that AI development is happening responsibly.
So we've got Elon Musk, the AI visionary, the AI ethicist, even the AI whisperer, maybe.
Maybe, yeah.
But how about Elon Musk, the AI leader? That's where his recent appointment gets really interesting, right?
Absolutely. His appointment as co-lead of the Department of Government Efficiency under President Trump, it's a big deal, right? It actually puts him in a position to directly influence AI policy at the highest level.
Okay, now things are getting really interesting.
Yeah.
He's not just talking the talk anymore. He's in a position to walk the walk.
Right.
But what does that actually look like?
Well, one of the first things he's been advocating for is a dedicated AI safety agency.
Wait, why is a separate agency necessary?
Right.
Don't we already have government agencies that look at tech and innovation?
We do, but AI it's different, you know?
Yeah.
It's not just another gadget or software program.
Right.
It has the potential to reshape society in ways we're only beginning to understand.
Okay.
A dedicated agency would ensure that AI safety and ethics are front and center, not just an afterthought.
So like a specialized team
Yes.
that really gets the nuances of AI and can create regulations that actually make sense.
Precisely. And it's not just about, keeping AI under control, although that's definitely part of it. Yep.
It's also about fostering responsible innovation.
Okay.
Musk believes that with the right safeguards in place, AI can actually be a powerful force for good.
So it's not about stifling progress.
Right.
It's about setting these clear guidelines so that AI development happens in a way that benefits everyone, not just a select few.
Exactly. Think of it this way. If you're building a skyscraper, you need, building codes and safety inspections to make sure it's not only impressive, but also safe and sound.
Right.
The same principle applies to AI.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So what would this AI safety agency actually do?
Right.
Like on a day-to-day basis?
Well, their role would be pretty broad, covering everything from setting standards for data privacy and bias mitigation to overseeing the development and deployment of those advanced AI systems.
Wow, that is broad.
Yeah.
It's a big job.
It's a big job. They'd essentially be the guardians of responsible AI, making sure it aligns with, human values and doesn't pose these unnecessary risks.
Guardians of responsible AI. I like the sound of that.
It has a nice ring to it. It does.
Yeah.
But wouldn't this slow down innovation?
Yeah.
I mean, bureaucracy is not known for its speed.
That's a valid concern.
Yeah.
But Musk, he argues that the opposite is actually true.
Really?
Yeah, he thinks that these clear guidelines can actually promote innovation by creating a level playing field
Okay.
and reducing uncertainty.
Okay.
When developers know the rules of the game,
Right.
they can focus on pushing the boundaries within a framework that prioritizes safety and ethics.
So instead of everyone racing to create the most powerful AI,
Right.
regardless of the consequences, they're encouraged to think about the bigger picture,
Yeah,
the ethical implications.
exactly. It shifts the focus from a race to the finish line to a collaborative effort to build an AI future that benefits, all of humanity.
That makes sense. And that brings us to another key part of Musk's vision, streamlining regulations to encourage innovation.
Yeah,
Hold on, that sounds a bit counter.
I know, right?
I thought we were just talking about more regulation.
It's not about more or less regulation. It's about smart regulation.
Okay.
Right now, the U.S. has this patchwork of state-level AI policies,
Correct.
which is super confusing,
Yeah, I bet.
and it hinders progress.
Right.
Musk wants to simplify things by creating a clear federal framework that encourages innovation while still addressing those ethical concerns.
So like a unified set of rules that everyone can understand and work with,
Exactly.
instead of navigating a maze of different regulations,
Yeah.
depending on where you are.
That's a great way to put it. A simplified, streamlined approach. It would attract investment, foster collaboration, and allow American companies to compete on a global scale.
Right, because who's already out there, like we said?
The EU.
Yeah, with their AI Act.
They're already ahead of the curve, so the U.S. needs to step up if it wants to remain a leader in this field.
Okay, this is starting to sound less like Elon Musk takes over AI and more like Elon Musk creates a system where everyone can thrive in this new AI era.
I think that's a great way to put it.
Yeah.
It's not just about tech companies. It's about making sure that AI benefits everyone, you know?
Right.
Imagine an AI-powered healthcare system that provides personalized treatments and diagnoses with incredible accuracy.
That would be amazing.
Or AI-driven solutions to, climate change, optimizing energy consumption and reducing emissions.
Yeah, we're talking about AI that helps us solve some of humanity's biggest problems, not just creates new ones.
Exactly.
But let's be real, not everyone is on board with giving Elon Musk this much influence.
Well, it's not. He's a polarizing figure. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah.
And his critics, that they argue that concentrating this much power in the hands of one person, no matter how well-intentioned, is inherently risky.
So they're worried about the too much power problem.
Yeah, that's the main concern.
What are some of their specific concerns?
Well, some argue that Musk's focus on, those existential risks we talked about earlier,
Right.
they say it distracts from the more immediate ethical challenges posed by AI, like bias and job displacement.
Oh.
They say that while it's important to think about those long-term implications, we need to address those real-world harms that AI is already causing.
So it's like saying, hey, let's not get so caught up in the robot uprising that we forget about the people who are already being negatively impacted by AI.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And others worry that Musk's vision of AI is too utopian, that he underestimates the potential for misuse and unintended consequences.
Okay.
They point to his own companies, like Tesla, where autopilot systems have been involved in fatal accidents, as evidence that even well-intentioned AI can go wrong.
Yeah, those accidents were tragic.
They were.
And they're a stark reminder that even with the best intentions and the smartest engineers, things can and do go wrong with complex technologies.
Absolutely. And that's why this conversation about AI governance is so crucial. It's not about blindly trusting one person or company to get it right.
Right.
It's about establishing robust systems of oversight, accountability, and ethical guidelines that can guide the development and deployment of AI in a way that benefits everyone.
So it's about building a system that's resilient,
Yes.
adaptable, and constantly evolving as the technology itself evolves.
Exactly. And that's where public engagement comes in.
Okay.
This isn't just a conversation for, tech experts and policymakers.
Right.
It's a conversation that needs to involve everyone.
I agree.
We need to be asking ourselves, what kind of AI future do we want?
Yeah.
What are our values? And how do we ensure that AI reflects those values?
Okay, yeah, I'm starting to see how this goes beyond just, like, technical specs and regulations.
Yeah.
It's about having this societal conversation.
Yeah.
About what we want AI to be, how we want it to shape our lives.
Exactly. And that's what makes, platforms like AI for the People so important.
Right.
It's about democratizing the conversation, making it accessible to everyone.
Yeah.
So we can collectively shape the future of AI in a way that benefits all of humanity.
Well said.
Thank you. Welcome back to AI for the People.
We've kind of laid out the AI landscape,
Yep,
right?
yeah.
We've covered a lot. The challenges, the risks, and why Elon Musk is even in this conversation.
And why he just might be the right person to lead us through it.
Exactly. So now let's zoom in a bit on what he's actually doing to make this vision, the safe and ethical AI, a reality.
That's where this appointment gets really interesting.
Right.
He's not just advising from the sidelines. He's in there actually shaping policy.
Right, as co-lead of the Department of Government Efficiency.
Exactly. And one of his first big moves has been pushing for a dedicated AI safety agency.
Okay, hold on. Back up for a second. Why a separate agency?
Right.
Why is that so important? Don't we already have, a ton of government bodies that look at tech?
We do, but AI it's kind of in a category of its own. It's
Yeah.
not just another app or another piece of software.
Okay.
It has the potential to completely transform, the fabric of society.
Yeah, I mean, we've been talking about these, trillion-dollar projections.
Exactly. The scale it's massive.
So having a separate agency
Right.
ensures that AI safety and the ethical considerations are top of mind, right?
Yes, it makes it the priority.
Not just something that's an afterthought.
Exactly. It's not just a box to check.
Right.
It's baked into the entire process.
So it's like having, a specialized team, right?
Yes.
That really gets the complexities of AI and can create regulations that, actually make sense.
That's the goal, to have experts who can anticipate the issues
Yeah.
and create guidelines that actually work.
And it's not about, stopping progress.
Right.
It's about making sure that progress happens responsibly.
It's about steering the ship in the right direction.
Right. It's like those building codes we talked about earlier.
Yeah,
You
exactly.
want the AI skyscraper to be impressive,
Of course,
but also stable.
it needs a good foundation.
Yeah,
You can't build on shaky ground.
perfect analogy.
Right.
So Musk believes that with the right guardrails in place,
Right.
AI can be a force for good, not just, a source of disruption and chaos.
It's about harnessing the power and directing it towards positive outcomes.
So what would this AI safety agency actually do? Like, what would their day-to-day look like?
Their job would be huge, covering everything from setting standards for data privacy to figuring out how to mitigate bias to overseeing the development of these, increasingly advanced AI systems.
That sounds like a lot of responsibility.
It is. It's a really big task.
Sounds like they need a lot of coffee to get through the day.
Definitely lots of coffee.
Think of them, as like the guardians of responsible AI, right?
That's a good way to put it.
Making sure it reflects human values, right?
Yeah,
And doesn't create unnecessary risks.
exactly. They're the watchdogs, making sure things stay on track.
Guardians of responsible AI. That's actually pretty catchy.
Yeah, it's got a nice ring to it.
But wouldn't all this, red tape and bureaucracy, wouldn't it just slow things down?
It's a concern that comes up a lot.
Right.
But Musk actually argues that, clear guidelines, they actually fuel innovation. Think about it. If developers, if they know the rules of the game,
Okay.
they can focus on pushing the boundaries within those rules.
Yeah, that makes sense.
They don't have to waste time figuring out what's allowed and what isn't.
So less uncertainty.
Right.
More focus on just building cool stuff.
It's about clarifying the path forward.
Right. It's not this race to the finish line.
Right, exactly.
It's about making sure that everyone benefits from this technology.
It's a marathon, not a sprint.
And that kind of leads us to another key aspect of Musk's vision, right?
Yeah.
Streamlining regulations to encourage innovation.
It sounds a little counterintuitive, doesn't it?
Hold on, I thought we were just talking about more regulation.
It's not about the amount. It's about making the regulations smarter.
Okay.
Right now, the U.S. has it's like this messy patchwork of like state-level AI policies.
So every state is kind of doing its own thing.
Yeah, it's all over the place.
Wow. Yeah, that sounds like a nightmare for companies trying to navigate it all.
It is. It's a huge barrier to progress. So what Musk wants to do is create one clear, federal framework for AI that everyone understands.
Okay.
So instead of this confusing maze of regulation,
Right.
it's more like a clear roadmap.
You know where you're going.
Exactly. You're not constantly hitting detours and roadblocks.
Makes sense.
And this streamlined approach would do a lot. It would attract investment, it would encourage companies to work together, and it would help American companies compete globally.
Because right now, who's winning that global AI race?
The EU is,
Like we said earlier.
with their AI Act.
Yeah, they're setting the pace.
And the U.S. needs to catch up.
This is making me think less about Elon Musk takes over AI and more about, Elon Musk creates this system where everyone can win, right?
Yeah, that's the hope, to create a system that benefits everyone.
Yeah, it's not about him becoming the AI overlord.
No, it's about building a better future for all of us.
And that's the goal, right? It's not just about making tech companies happy. It's about making sure that everyone benefits from this tech.
Absolutely, everyone should have a seat at the table.
Think about, AI-powered healthcare, personalized treatments, diagnoses that are incredibly accurate.
Imagine what that could do for people's lives.
Or using AI to, tackle climate change, optimizing energy use, cutting emissions.
Those are the kind of wins we're talking about.
Yeah, using AI to solve some of humanity's biggest problems, not create new ones.
Exactly. That's the potential we need to unlock.
But let's be real, not everyone is, thrilled about giving Elon Musk this much power, right?
No, not everyone is on board, and it's understandable why
Yeah.
he's a polarizing figure. And some critics argue that giving one person, no matter how well-intentioned, this much influence is inherently risky.
So it's that classic too much power argument.
Yeah, that's a big part of it.
What else are they concerned about?
Well, some critics worry that his focus on these existential risks we talked about earlier,
Right.
they say it distracts from the very real ethical issues that AI is causing right now.
Like what?
Things like bias in algorithms, the potential for job displacement.
Okay, so those are more immediate concerns.
Yes, they're happening right now.
Yeah.
And these critics argue that, while it's important to think about the long term, we can't ignore the problems we're facing today.
So it's let's deal with the issues we have right now, before worrying about the robot uprising.
Exactly. Let's not get ahead of ourselves.
Yeah.
And some critics, they also worry that Musk's vision for AI, it might be a little too optimistic.
Too good to be true.
Yeah, they're concerned that he might be underestimating the potential for misuse, even if it's unintentional.
Okay.
And they point to things like Tesla's autopilot accidents as evidence that even with the best intentions, things can go wrong.
Right, those were tragic accidents.
They were.
And they definitely make you think about the potential downsides.
Exactly. They're a reminder that we need to be cautious.
Right.
And that's why this conversation about AI governance, it's so important.
Yeah.
It's not about blindly trusting one person or one company to get it right.
Right.
It's about creating these strong systems of oversight and accountability.
Checks and balances, basically.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. We need mechanisms to prevent abuse and correct course when things go wrong.
So we're not putting all our eggs in one basket.
Exactly. We need a system that's resilient and can adapt.
Right, and ethical guidelines to ensure that this technology benefits everyone, not just a select few.
That's the ultimate goal.
So we're talking about building a system that can, flex and change as AI itself evolves.
Exactly. It needs to be dynamic and responsive.
And that's where you come in, our listener.
Yeah, you're a crucial part of this.
Welcome back to AI for the People.
We've been, really diving deep into this whole question of whether Elon Musk should be the one guiding America's AI future.
It's been a fascinating conversation.
Yes.
We've looked at the potential risks and benefits, Musk's vision, and what he's actually doing on the ground to shape AI policy.
But as we wrap up,
Yeah.
that big question still remains. Is he the right person for this job?
It's a question that's sparking debate everywhere, and for good reason.
It's a complex issue.
There's no easy answer. No one right or wrong perspective.
Exactly. It's not black and white.
The important thing is that we're having this conversation,
Yes, absolutely.
thoughtfully and critically.
We need to be engaged and informed.
Absolutely. This isn't about blindly following anyone.
Right.
It's about understanding the complexities, weighing the potential benefits and risks, and then deciding, what kind of AI future we want.
It's about making conscious choices.
Exactly. And that's where you come in, our listeners.
Yeah, you're a big part of this.
They're like the missing piece of this puzzle.
Your voices matter.
Your perspectives, your hopes, your concerns, they're all crucial in shaping this whole conversation.
So let's hear from you.
Yeah, what are your thoughts? What stood out to you about Musk's approach to AI? What excites you? What worries you?
Let's have a real discussion about this.
Hit us up in the comments, share your thoughts, because this isn't just us talking ATU, right?
No, it's a two-way street.
It's a dialogue.
We need those diverse voices, that critical thinking, a willingness to challenge assumptions.
Because the future of AI, it's not set in stone.
It's being shaped right now.
By the choices we make.
Yeah, the conversations we have.
The actions we take.
Exactly. We all have a role to play.
And that's what AI for the People is all about, empowering you, our listeners, to become active participants in shaping this future.
We're not just here to report on what's happening. We're here to, spark a movement, a collective effort to ensure that AI serves humanity.
Not the other way around.
Exactly. We need to be in control.
So join the conversation, stay engaged, and let's build that future.
A future where AI empowers everyone.
And speaking of empowerment, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and follow us at @AI for the People for those daily updates and discussions on everything AI.
We'll be back soon with another deep dive, this time exploring how AI is transforming healthcare.
Ooh, that's going to be a good one. Until then, keep those AI algorithms humming and those critical thinking caps on.
We'll see you in the future.
See you later.